Hi, good day. Welcome once again for our Bettery Labs. Doing it better live chat. It's an awesome Monday, and today it's going to be another session. We have business owners to come up to our chat to share about their challenges, to inspire us. To share about what are the initiatives they've done. So far this is our third session, and the review has been really, really good. So I would like to really urge all of our viewers, to engage our today's guest. Now, just a brief introduction of our today's guest before I bring on live here. Now, our today's guest is actually Sally, the founder of Fabriques Asia. And for you guys, I think the one good thing is that we actually have Fabriques Asia, which focuses on men's apparels. So without further, let me just invite Sally up. Hi, Sally.
Hello. Hi.
Hello. How are you doing?
Oh, well, I guess.
Okay. Now, first of all, thank you so much, Sally, for joining us in this Doing It Better live chat.
Oh.
Really, appreciate that you are joining us amidst your busy schedule at the moment. Yeah. So. Yeah, busy. The good thing is that we are consistently keeping ourselves busy to be better, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Just a brief introduction about Sally before we move on. We got a lot of questions lined up for you, right? Yeah, really a lot of questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
So now, first of all, Sally, as I said, is the founder of Fabriques Asia, an avid traveler who connects the rich story of culture around the region through a designs of men's apparel. I was just introducing and saying, men, be alert, because very rare do you actually have online apparels just for men, so we are quite excited. And Sally has expanded her network, experience with bespoke menswear designers like Zainal and Jovian Mandagie through trade fairs, and has partake in several trade shows locally and internationally. Wow, really impressive. So Sally, so I'm sure you have much more to share to us about yourself, your business, and the story behind your current success.
Thank you, Sakti. Thank you, Bettery Lab, for actually inviting me today. Actually, very nervous. When it comes to interviews, I'm always nervous because, but I'm gonna try. It's something that I'm working on for myself. So, a brief about myself. I'm actually the founder and the storyteller for Fabriques Asia. I don't really like to introduce myself as the managing director or something, because I believe that is another scope lah. But for me, I am the designer and also the storyteller. So when I design, what I mean by that is that the company represents, in a sense, that we have this slogan saying that a story in every style. So every bit of my design comes with a history of the fabric, a knowledge about the fabric, and is also where does the fabric originates from. Because I am blessed to be able to travel and actually have access on meeting people and in networking and such, to be able to retrieve these beautiful fabrics around Asia and certain regions. So that is why the Fabriques Asia was actually being formed. Initially, we were NSMK Apparels.
Okay.
And when we actually did change the name in due, because our marketing people was saying that in order to have an outreach in your branding, it has to be some niche or maybe a bit of cliche kind of name, so that people kind of remember you.
Okay.
So NSMK was a bit difficult to pronounce, even though it's four letters. So that was before when we went to Manchester, trade fair in Manchester. So we did rebranding. It was a second journey of ours. We rebranded with a more positive focus, because one of our focus was to actually enter the Europe market.
Right, nice.
Yes. Story short, why Europe? I actually studied in the UK. I did my events management and also my wedding planning in UK itself.
Wow.
So that is where I have big love for people who loves culture, and Europeans are one of the people who loves culture and appreciate culture. So that is one of the reason. And we have that is where when I travel around, especially Europe, in a search of history, and like that you go to London or what, they have such rich history. I just want to share with the Europeans that Asia themselves is full of rich history and beautiful fabrics. Yeah, as simple as we can see batik, right? Some people think batik is for the day. When people pass away, they use it. They use it at home. But honestly, if you actually learn, for every motif, it has a story behind it, and why is it called like this and that. Something like the Japanese kimono, is all that. So bit and bit, this is how I fell in love with fabrics, and I merge it into a design and factor it into men's design.
Nice. So I mean, first of all, I got to say that Fabriques Asia is definitely a very catchy name. Just listening to the name itself straight away tells me that it has something to do with fabric, about apparels, and at the same time, it is something to do with our rich culture, Asian culture. So definitely, I mean, I do agree that it's definitely an awesome way of rebranding. And of course, the second thing I like about what you just shared is your passion to share the culture, your passion, and I like the way you do it. You do it through design. And instead of just focusing on design, I think you focus a lot on the fabric itself. The fabrics and everything. So I think that's very interesting. Something normally when I talk to designers, when I talk to people who actually do businesses, they always talk about designs. They are more focused on designs, and here you are talking about culture, integration of culture, designs, and fabric. Now that's, I think, something really interesting that I think so right now. Now, it's one of those questions that I wanted to ask you later, but I'm going to ask you now. Now, why men's apparel? Why not women? We had this conversation before, but I just had to ask you.
It's actually a lot of questions has been asked upon me on to why. Honestly, I'm a person who doesn't like to actually do like juggle or actually gamble something that you don't know. And then go straight. At times, it's nice to do that because in business, sometimes you just have to do that. But this is something I'm comfortable with. And I like to see men looking nice. And I find it's a problem in a sense, whereas whenever I went for high raya visiting or we go weddings, men usually stick with shirts, polo t-shirts, or they wear their baju kurung, not the full set, only half, and jeans, and I find it sloppy. My apologies if people get. This is my take lah. So I like to see men looking suave, dashy, and despite it's buying off the rack, it has a measurement that fits you nicely. Despite you are, let's say 5XL, 4XL, because despite sizes, despite culture, despite body size, I want men to look profound in a way, and also make it economical in a sense. That's why it's only a top for now, whereas it's being designed in a sense that you can actually wear with all types of pants that you have at home instead of repurchasing it all the time. And actually, be able, for example, if you're going to wear a kurta long sleeve, you can actually wear pants and shoes for formal. You can actually wear jeans and sneakers if you want to look a bit street. So it's actually a choice for the customers as well. So I wanted to make it something interesting that you can actually flare one kurta to about 3 to 4 types of wearing.
Nice. Now, being a man, I can resonate to what you just shared a while ago, where when we are going for events, it's like let's not make it too complicated, something simple, So, and now that you actually answering a very key pain point for a lot of women out there who want their men to look, to look good in a function, at the same time make it hassle-free. I mean, like I like the point you can say that one particular attire or kurta can, go in a few ways where you can match it. And I think these are things that, I mean, definitely that will attract. Those are the kind of clothes that I look out for. And I think you are actually specifically addressing quite a few pain points that both the women or the spouses have, and for the guys as well. So I think that is a nice point that you have come onto. Now, just a question, now that you answered about why men's apparel. Now, were you an entrepreneur from the start? And if yes, why entrepreneurship? Everybody knows that entrepreneurship is all about, taking risks, there's uncertainty, but why? What inspired you, or what made you want to, start a business?
So, actually, my curiosity is, I'm a person full of curiosity, and I would actually go to a job, or like go for a. I mean, I get a job just to see what's beneath the counter. Like I've ever worked for Subway before because I'm curious how Subway works. How is the chain? How is it so successful in being chained to be so famous for now? How they prep, how they ensure that the quality of the bread, the quality of temperature, all those kind of things. Because if you never work there, you will not be able to see behind the scenes of it. So one of the
True.
things that how I started to be an entrepreneur is that I lost my job as an assistant GM for a venue.
Okay.
I got depressed lah. So it was actually because I actually made the venue. I actually developed the venue from scratch. But I mean, I always believe that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, in a
Yeah.
sense. So and I've been tired because I've been working since I was 13 years old. So
Wow. Okay.
I am tired working for somebody, and I'm curious, what is it like being a boss, your own boss?
Okay.
Because I've always seen, I have friends who are self-employed. Of course, the questions are a lot. You won't have proper passive income. Uh, your things are always unpredictable. But the best part of it is that the learning journey of it that I love. The learning journey, the adrenaline, the obstacles, the challenges is totally different if you're working for somebody.
Yes. True. I agree.
So yeah, so
Definitely.
that's my take lah. Some people call me crazy leaving a job or a fort that has been served that I've been working for 13 years. Why? Why this? Why not that? Why don't you get paid? And how's the CPF like? All that. Yeah, it's definitely a million questions. But a question that triggered in me is that if I don't try now, I don't want to die being curious about it. So that's how it started actually.
Yeah, one thing that's very similar, or I can say that it's very common within the entrepreneurs is this: taking the risk. Yes, taking charge and control of what you can get. Though there is uncertainty, and I think one of the key thing is actually having that passion to want to do it. It means all this risk and everything. So I think yes, definitely, and of course the curiosity. How would it be when I'm my own boss answering to myself? I can resonate to myself. I was an ex-army officer, and then now that,
Yeah.
yeah, and now that you have already tasted, the feeling of being a business owner. Okay, so if you are given a choice, would you, ever decide to be employed, or you will, still move on, and why?
I'll still be self-employed. The
Ah,
interesting journey of it, the take, the obstacles, the people you meet, the things that you'll find out. It's like you're on a constant treasure hunt,
hmm,
trying to upkeep, trying to push yourself. Like today, I'm a talkative person by nature, yes. But when it comes to interview pitching, that's always a problem with me that I'll get scared or nervous. But it's a take of challenging myself to take myself to another level, that in a sense that I can actually do this. This is actually possible. It's not impossible. Like for the business take in a sense, I've never done FB Live. I'm so concerned of being judged, being this and that, just being human. But in a way, when COVID-19 happens, where will I take my business? There's no bazaar gilam, there's no this, there's no that. And I'm not really tech savvy. So it's a boundary. So when you become a self-employed person, these are the questions that you'll be asking yourself, and you're able to push yourself to the next level. This is what constantly make, and business are not for the faint of heart,
yes,
because
yes, definitely.
sometimes the obstacles will make you totally speechless, the money that you lose, and a lot of things that happens, but it becomes addictive in a way.
Yes. Excellent word to use, addictive,
Yeah.
the feeling of control
Yeah.
over your own future. And
Yes.
I got to say this, first of all, it's definitely a compliment that you don't look anxious, you don't look afraid, you look really
Oh,
comfortable. So, I used to say that, it's all about performance anxiety, but you don't show any of this. You look, I mean,
oh,
in
God
fact, I think
bless
you
you.
look more comfortable, even
Yeah.
compared to yourself. So trust me,
Because I'm a person who believes in sharing. It's not
yeah,
only me that are facing a very tough time right now. So guys, if
yes,
we don't hold ourselves hand in hand, how will we actually uprise this economy phase at the moment?
yes,
It's we cannot be so obnoxious, or we don't want to share things. Cannot. Learning journey is all, and knowledge is all about sharing, and
yes,
business is all about networking and sharing. You
yes.
need to have that.
And we have talked about this before, that previously, when the last time we met, that one of the most key or motivated group of people are actually business owners or entrepreneurs. So I think sometimes it is right that once there are challenging times as what we are going through now, it is important to share the experiences and tell each other, come on, there is a way ahead, let's move on and push on. I think that's a key reason why even we started this chat, to share,
Yeah.
to say that, hey, we are with you, we are in the same position as you, let's do it together. And I think,
Yeah.
and that is the key thing. And the excellent thing is that business owners are more than happy to come up like yourself, to say, hey, yes, I want to come there and share and inspire people, because I need the inspiration and I want to inspire others as well. So I
Yeah.
think that's the key. So now that you already talked about the challenges at the bazaar and everything, then I think this is the next question that I'm definitely going to go into. Now, currently, the business challenges, as we know, COVID-19 situation, and with the extension of the circuit breaker, people are losing count of days. They don't even know whether it's a Monday or Tuesday for some when I talk to them.
Like me
But I think,
nowadays.
yeah. So it becomes a norm. When people forget the days, it's like, it's okay. We are in the sea. Circuit breaker phase, so it's okay. But I think the challenges. What are the challenges for yourself? What are the challenges you are facing at this point of time, and how did you overcome and still overcoming some of these challenges at this point? Maybe you want to share with us some of this.
Some like for a start, I actually recently opened a small shop at Hexacube.
Ah, okay.
So it was officially open since December,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like a small display shop, because usually when you sell online, not all people are comfortable purchasing online. I'm one of the person who's still learning to purchase things online. It's because that, especially when it comes to garments, when your body is like a bit slightly oddly shaped in a sense, and not like a typical size model, you tend to have difficulties in purchasing certain things. So
Yes.
we have that studio in order for men to actually come and explore,
Oh, okay.
discuss with us, because that is where I actually do my research, which is on ground. I
Mm.
will hear them about the particular card they like, how the pockets they like it to be, the buttons, the zips. So that is where the shop was actually, that's how the shop surfaced out. It took us more than 3 years before we decided. It was actually a push by my cousin Zahiri, in a way
Okay.
that you need to start somewhere to step somewhere.
Mm.
So it was a push despite it's not comfortable, but with the comfortable rental that we got, we actually shared a shop with him. We opened, and it was actually quite a success, in a sense
Okay.
that they came telling me like, they said, sis, there's never a time that a place that we're gonna buy our traditional clothes, and we have a space that we can chill, try at our own time, and you actually attended to us personally, because usually it's via appointment.
Yeah.
So
So So
so
in
I,
this case, you are, yeah, sorry, I just got to ask this question. So in this case, when you open up the shop, it is more for those men who feels that, I rather come there, I'll ask for some consultation. I would like to see. I mean, for me, I'm a kinesthetic guy. I got to feel, I got to, see for myself. And then I
yes,
feel more comfortable. So
yes.
usually, I have some of the guys who told me, hey, I mean, like, when my wife buys, online stuff, I'm always like, sure, it will fit you. So I think that's an excellent way of engaging even the other group of customers who may feel, that I want to go down there personally. So yeah, that's. But what are the challenges that you faced at this point of time when you're talking about opening the shop in December? January, February was the time where the COVID situation started forming up, and then March, April is where. So any challenges that you are overcoming now?
The challenges is like we had to close our shop. We
Oh,
can't
okay, okay,
operate. We can't operate anymore from the shop, uh,
okay,
because we are not actually a necessity, in a sense.
okay.
That was a huge bite, because we just landed our feet,
Hmm.
and then this happens. The challenges of having one was the shop. The other thing is logistics wise. And then we have, because our factory is actually in Kuala Lumpur, so we
Okay.
have issues of our stocks are being stuck in Kuala Lumpur now and
Mm.
trying to get ways for it to be shipped over.
Mm.
And another problem is now we tried to do FB Live and now we can't do delivery anymore because
Okay.
of the recent law. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's we were about to tackle one and we think we are there, and then another thing surface out, and then we get relaxed, and then things are surface out. So the obstacles during this COVID is actually really back to back until I was like, oh my god,
Mm.
how is this gonna happen? But I am blessed. I am blessed in the sense that one of the things when I first started business, I joined Chambers of Commerce.
Okay.
I joined Chambers of Commerce last time as a AGM for the venue. So,
Mm.
and I actually joined them with for my own brand as well, my own company. So, the people there, the experienced people, they actually are in hand with us in order to assist us, to explain to us what are the reliefs that the government is giving. They're
Mm.
teaching us, they're like the people who are like, you're grasping for air, and these are people are giving you the oxygen for it. I mean,
Yes. Yes.
yeah. So like you guys, Bettery Lab, always checking on us. How's it going? You guys understand this? That's why I say I always stress networking is actually very important in business and being humble. I always remember Sakti you said that being humble
Oh yeah, of course. I
because
mean,
yeah, you have to.
life is a circle. You never know when we're going to come back together, and yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it's awesome. You just hit a very important point. Even the last time when I was talking to a couple of business owners like Atika, their concern was, every company needs a certain level of support to
True.
stabilize prior to transforming. Like what you say. Sometimes the changes could be overwhelming. Too many things at the same time, too many changes, but we still need to have our businesses running because our liabilities, our overheads are there. But of course, I think we are blessed to be in a country where there's a lot of support. But
Yeah,
the
totally
question
blessed.
is, yeah, but the question is sometimes is, do you think business owners are given the adequate information that is required for them to know, hey, there's this grant and you are allowed to take this grant? I do you think it is important for business owners, and how do you think they can actually go for this kind of help or ask for such help?
Yeah. So when I was like prepping for today's interview, one of the questions you guys actually shared with me is that honestly, I am so confused.
Hmm.
It took me sometimes to read and read and read and actually go online. I called the hotline to actually check because I do not want to be penalized for doing the wrong things.
Hmm.
Because our minister actually highlighted, please do not do, please ensure you do it properly. So I'm not so sure
Yeah.
whether I'm entitled for it. We have, even though the reliefs are called SIRS,
Yes. Yes.
SEP income relief scheme. If I'm not,
Hmm.
if it's wrong, right, wrong, it's
Yeah.
like they are giving certain jargons that us layman people don't really understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, despite being in business for nearly 4 years, there's certain things I don't really understand. So I'm
Yes.
lucky we have like Chambers of Commerce. We have you
Yes.
guys who actually reach out to, who understands a certain perspective of what's going on. But till now, we are trying to collate because there's certain things that you have to ensure that whether you contribute to the CPF, whether you have employees, whether there's always like, oh, I answer this question, so am I eligible for this? Because there's totally a lot of release that the government is giving. But to
Yes.
ensure that whether we understand, I'm actually on out of 10, I'm actually a 4. I'm
Yeah.
actually still grasping how do I apply. Even as simple as the self-relief fund, the $500, because the minister highlighted to ensure that if you're not entitled, please don't try and do this or
Hmm.
not. Someone to make sure that my husband's income and me is correct, whether we're eligible or not, what else, what kind of supporting documents, because some of the documents I may not have. So what is the other? So when actually one of the things that I went to the community center when the first week when it was announced, and then they have these people who I was actually declined in a sense of the relief. Whereas this auntie say if you're not like this, you can't use this. So I was like, but that was not written as when we see the summary of all the things that I read. So I think I'm actually entitled to at least one of these. So I mean, understand that the people are all trying to help, but it's actually nice to have a person who's actually well fed with information. Because on this
Yes.
crucial time, I know that the government wants us to do things right, but I want us to be properly understand what's going on and what we can do. Something more in depth, something that has better clarity in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think one thing I do appreciate, like many of the business owners or even individuals, that there are grants given, and I think everybody wants to be responsible, not to abuse
Yeah.
those grants it's given
True.
because it's meant to help. And
Yes.
sometimes we want to make sure that hey, I qualify for this grant.
Yeah.
I do not want to apply for something that I may not. And the key thing is to get the correct information. And
Yes.
I think it's
Correct information.
important to be. I mean, definitely, the Malay chambers are doing an excellent job. I've seen a lot of webinars going on, updating. So I think these are the key information that definitely, what you say, business owners need to look for help when they are not receiving it. Even on our part, Bettery Lab, when we started, I think Bettery Hub and the initiative they are doing is actually to feed the correct information. And even this live chat is for information like this
True.
that will reach business owners where sometimes it's not the answers or the solutions, but just to get the direction.
True.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
this is the correct person or this is the correct place to get that. So I think that is definitely essential at this point of time. So especially in the key time where you want to stabilize, make use of the necessary support and so on. Now, now that we talk about support and so what were your? I mean, you shared with us the challenges, from your shop, and then from there, you have to close down the shop because it's not essential at this point of time. And now Raya is around. There's no bazaar, and online. Your apparel. So what are the key initiatives you are doing to transform, your business at this point of time? Is there anything that you're looking forward to or already started embarking on?
We work on currently when we entered this protege camp that Malay Chambers was doing. We actually network through these people, and in a sense, the resources that we don't have, we are actually networking together in order to have the experience and also to do assistance. Like now, currently, the one who's doing our marketing manager is actually Atika, the previous
Oh,
one.
nice, good.
We actually met and see what can we benefit from each other. It's like a win-win situation, you see, because
Yes,
that as business owners and solopreneurs, you can't be good at every perspective.
yes,
You have to give yourself credit in the sense that you can't do all in
yes,
order to move to a different platform if you want to grow. So when we work with Atika, there's certain things that we sat with her, we worked on, we are currently working on our campaigns, we are currently working on our website, changing a certain aspects of how people perceive in a way, how we recognize our clientele, how we are taking information to see what are the best things to buy, what are the best sellers, all that. So by merging these, me and her, our two companies, we are actually helping each other. On her hand, she has another client, yes, and she has another person who she can actually learn from and also assist at the same time. So this is how I mean in these terms, in these times that we are so hard, sometimes it's not all about the money. It's about
yeah,
how we actually can collaborate and help
yes.
each other out in a way so that our business will not die down but still surface in a way.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, I still remember when we had the interview with Atika, the last session from Morning Momo, right? She was saying that, hey, my success is all dependent on my client's success. If they are successful, I'm successful. So in that case, I think, yeah, in businesses, the key thing is collaboration. And
Yes.
another key thing is the ability to leverage on each other's strength and
True.
to be, yeah, and to be able to, help each other. And
Yes.
sometimes you realize that by doing that, it's actually a win-win situation where both of us are
Definitely.
benefiting from it. So I think that's the key. You see? So that is something that I'm very like happy to say that a lot of you guys have already started doing that. You are already like talking, brainstorming. I'll call it more towards a collective way of crowdsourcing for solutions.
Yes.
What can you
Yes.
do? I have this problem, and sometimes the solution doesn't come from you or somebody
True.
from your industry, but from
Yes.
somebody else. So I think that's the true spirit of entrepreneurship or business owners
Yes.
coming together.
I mean, in a sense that everyone is trying to stay afloat. Everybody is like trying to survive. The
Yes.
economy will not get better in about 2 months or 3 months. We are foreseeing things that are going like in about 2 years. It will stretch up to 2 years. God forbid it gets better earlier. Why not? I mean, rather than thinking about income also, which is actually very important, we share the strength. It's like how they say SG United. In a way, we are getting all businesses uniting to share this. You take a piece of cake, I take a piece of cake. And we share that piece of cake. And
Yes.
you might be shocked the level of ideas, the level of solutions, and the level of assistance, because you might be the person who's doing this business, but sometimes his experience from doing other things can actually reflect or actually assist on what your currently trouble that you're facing. So in a sense, I believe that it's good to share. Knowledge is supposed to be shared, and it's a learning curve lah. At this time, it's a time for you to either push yourself out to the front and actually mitigate whatever the weaknesses that you think that you can't. It's time to work it out. That's how I
And
take.
it's more of an opportunity to bring yourselves or ourselves to the next level. Now, in fact, this is where, I wanted to ask you, the next question is, the last time I met you was actually in a classroom session. We were in Project Kita, Bettery Lab was there, and we met up, and as I was saying, most of the initial companies that we are calling for this live chat are actually business owners who we feel, even I myself feel, or the speakers felt that, really motivated, because for business owners to spend weekends to sit in a classroom, they think about how to grow my business, how do I improve myself. I think that takes a lot, So, I mean, for yourself, I know you lead this by example, you were there. For the trainings to upgrade yourself, to think of new ideas for pitching your business, so and getting yourself into uncomfortable situations where you got to come in front, like what you said. But so how important do you think is it for business owners to to really unlearn some of those things that they have already known and to relearn, to adapt and transform, especially in today's context?
One thing, the beauty of knowledge, right? It's evergreen, not always evergreen. As time changes, law changes, a lot of things changes. You need to always be constantly learning. If you don't go for classes, certain things, maybe I might be old school. I love going to classes, but sometimes time is a factor. But by going to these classes, and I'm always upgrading yourself in a way, you are actually more geared up in a way.
Yes.
In order not to actually, you are much more precautious when you have more knowledge. You are might able to actually settle solutions more amicably, and then you might be a better person in a sense because you never stop learning.
Yes.
So that means that's why with all these classes that the Chambers of Commerce are doing, or I will take simple classes on how to be the WSQ leadership. When I was when I lost my job, I took a whole year off and just went for WSQ courses. A knowledge is never too small or too low for you. You might never know that you need a recap, or maybe you need some self-reflection or check for yourself that, hey, is this how I learned it last time? It's different now. Like simple as when I first went back to school when I was in UK. The last time when I went to school, people was using overhead projectors, guys.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I was in the same way.
If you guys can relate. But when I went to school in the UK, people are using Dropbox for their assignments, and then they don't bring textbook. I actually bought my textbook, like loads of textbook. I was like here trying to find my textbook, but they have ebooks now. All people came with actually just a tablet in hand, a laptop, and just a book for notes. That's how things changes, you see. But if you're so scared of changes and you're so scared to be able to push yourself to actually go and learn, it's going to be difficult for you because the world is changing every day. Without giving yourself with knowledge, you might be left behind. So that's why even at this age, people, I have like friends saying, why are you still going to school? Why are you going for these courses? But this is where I actually grasp all my confidence from all the knowledge that I attain. it made me have took a step back and actually see my side, my business. Oh, what even in these 4 years, why am I not there yet? So I'll take 3 steps back with whatever knowledge that I attain, and actually to actually see, oh, this is the error. Because the next step that I'm going for now is actually to be into internalization. So if my foundations are not strong and I don't have a proper knowledge to gear up, I might lose a lot in longer run. So that's why I took a step back. I actually took 3 steps back to actually view my business in a certain perspective, where we actually redo a lot of things through the courses that we attended and the knowledge that we attended. So I mean, guys, knowledge is power. If you don't learn and stay continuous learning, it actually will drag you away from the era that we are actually going for, especially
Yes.
during the COVID. Yes.
And for all the viewers, I can personally vouch that Sally was one person who was never satisfied with what she had, and she was like consistently looking at how can I improve, what is there better I can do. I mean during the time when we were together at we were, Bettery Lab was the program manager or the program coordinator with
Amazing, guys. It was amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. It's always heartwarming, to hear from business owners, fellow business owners that we have made a difference. But I think the key thing is about sharing. And even we ourselves, even though we were, the program partners with Malay Chambers, we realized that we learned a lot more things. And that's why today, when things were down, we realized that it's time to really, do live chats. I mean, today you can go to Facebook or you go to any social media platform, you can see that there are a lot of live chats going on. A lot. Everybody is now, doing. I mean, it's good. It's quite good that people are adopting and adapting, to the new way of how information transfer is being done and so on. So I think we realized that we need to share the key information. That's where the live chat itself came about. So I think yes, learning never stops, and I think especially not just knowledge but also the skill sets to be able to practice. Like what you say, no matter how you can see change as a threat, or you can see change as a way of moving yourself to the next level. Be uncomfortable, but that is where learning happens. Because I think the worst thing that can happen is when we are not even conscious about what we don't know. And the only way it happens is when you put yourself in a very uncomfortable position. So I think, yes, once again, along with Sally, and I will also say business owners, keep moving forward, looking for avenues. And this is one of the key opportunities. Now, I even tell my kids as well, and a lot of the other business owners that I meet up that, hey, look, years from now, it's either you will be grateful or you will regret that this moment of this COVID-19 situation where we have this circuit breaker would have been the biggest opportunity for us to really, as much as all the challenges are there, it's the biggest opportunity for us to actually really go back to the basics and build a foundation that, it's really back to basics, take a time out and settle up things.
Yeah. It's as simple as certain things like sorry to cut you, the founder of Alibaba. He always finds solutions in every difficulties, guys. So in a perspective, at first I was like rekindling what was he referring to. So whatever he's saying is actually applicable to what it's currently happening now.
Yes.
Whether our owners who are not tech savvy, we are pushing ourselves towards learning, doing a proper job on our website, showing whether we have connections to our customers, which is actually in a way that it's like a blessing in disguise, despite we are in our hardest times. But
Yes.
if we take it on a positive note, it's a blessing in a way.
Yes, definitely. That is something that we can't agree. In fact, I'm sure Iskandar would have talked to you about the Bettery Hub, the new initiative that we are.
I'm looking forward for it.
Yeah, so I think the whole idea that came about, many business owners, is about passion, to make a difference. The rest will fall in place when you are passionate and you have an oversight of what you want to do. There's a clear purpose, to make the difference. And I think the rest will, the biggest thing about business is, it should be something that changes the world, make an impact to people around you. And I think that's the key. And that what really, like what you said, really sometimes give you that kick to be in control of what we are doing, the passion to keep us going, especially during these challenges time. Now, the next thing is, of course, we'll talk about the most important thing, our customers, the people out there, who, especially loyal customers who've been with you through thick and thin, always there. Of course, these are the people out there. Now, how do you, at this moment, still deliver your value proposition? I mean, we've been talking about value proposition during our sessions. And how do you delight your customers? How do you still maintain to delight your customers?
So what we are currently doing is that we are still continuing to delight our customers in a certain factor. We are trying to work with Artika in a way where how do we can actually capture the needs of our customers in a sense. And we are also trying being more active in social media. I soon to be realized now that social media is actually very important that I have to really work on. So we are currently working with Artika on our Instagram, on our Facebook, our Google Ads. So it's a time for us to actually show to our customers that we are still within reach despite whatever is happening. And the current thing that I'm currently working on is that to have a virtual shop appointment, whereas I will actually video call them. And actually they will have a one-to-one session with me for about 15 to 20 minutes. And they can shop with me personally, which I am able to attend to them personally when they ask me about measurements, colors, what fits them, what's not. Because sometimes during Facebook Live, they might be a bit shy or embarrassed to ask certain questions. So that's another way that we are actually working on it on a platform now. But we're not sure yet, but we're still working on it. Another perspective is that we do Facebook Live. We have done 3 lives. I'm still uncomfortable, but still learning. But I am so blessed that there are customers who actually teach me on the line. Oh, you must give your apparels a code. Oh, I learned. So I said, the next live, I give codes. Then they say, sis, you must make sure that it's deliver or postage. So I learned about ninja packs.
Okay.
Instead of post pack, I learned about ninja packs. Now I'm working with this Australian because I have customers in Australia as well, in Melbourne. So
nice.
bits of bits here, we actually trying our best to actually reach out to all our customers. And we are very blessed that we have our regulars coming back. Because if you don't try our kurtas, people will ask, why $69.90? Why is that price? Why is it that you must try? I'm a believer of quality and I'm a believer of comfort because I come from a family of vain men. And my father is very particular about the material that he utilizes. So this is where I learn. And when I go on ground, I learn. And when the customer feedbacks, I learn. So in this perspective, despite we're not able to actually have a face-to-face with our customers, but by reading their comments right after a Facebook Live, you tend to understand, what are the needs? What are supposed for me? What are the things that I can change? What I can attain? Is it delivery things okay for them? Because I'm trying to minimize the delivery cost. So what's the other things? So, but I'm very appreciative and very thankful that they are very understanding despite the situation, because some of my garments, my kurtas doesn't come in all sizes because some of them are still stuck in Kuala Lumpur. But we have currently we're quite positive. We are slow but positive in a way.
All right. Now, there are 2 things that I'm really excited. I mean, if you talk about virtual online shopping, where I think you are working towards that. I think this is something quite exciting. You go online, you look at it, and sometimes you may have questions, and this is when you have somebody to be able to follow through with you and answer your questions. I mean, though yes. But if it is live and you are able to clarify certain questions, I think that's something definitely that I will be excited about. And I think a lot of consumers out there, the customers out there, will feel more reassured. And the second thing is it's about your initiative of yes, social media is definitely a platform. If used correctly, it's definitely your outreach will be much better so long as you're using the correct platforms to engage the people out there. So I think these are 2 key initiatives that I think definitely, and to be very frank, this I'm very thankful that this circuit breaker has given me a chance to be a host of my own live chat. You know, it's like, yeah, you know, and every day whenever I finish this session, I'll go back and I'll have a couple of friends, you know, even existing clients or even, you know, close associates who will tell me, hey, you know, Sakti, you should have done this, you should sit here, you should do this. And I realize that I'm just consistently improving, and that's the key. You know, there are always these key people who wants to see us succeed, and they are willing to go out of their way to give us that feedback to be better. I think that is definitely very important, especially when you're talking about consistently thinking about delighting. I think that's something that we need to have it at the back of the mind.
Yeah.
Right now, yes.
No, I'm fine. Go ahead.
All right, I'll just go to the next part now. Now, two things. What is unique about your products? Now, one thing that you hit the nail is to say that, look, it's the how you feel, the fabric itself. You know, your name says it all. It is not just the design, but it's the fabric, the feel of it. And I'm one person, as I said, you know, I believe in, you know, I'm a kinesthetic guy. I must feel, you know, I must really feel good about something. And I think that is a key focus for Fabriques Asia, you know, to make sure that the clothes we have, you know, the quality is there. So I think in this case, what I'm just going to take a bit of time before I go into what is unique about your products and your services, to go to your online to show some of these designs and apparels that you have. Just give me a minute. Let me just do this. Just give me a yes if you are able to see. All right, coming on now. Are you able to see?
Oh yeah, my
Yeah,
website.
right. Yes. So maybe you want to run through with us, you know, maybe something, maybe I go into the products or your catalog. So you can just tell us, you know, what is so unique about your services and the products that you have.
So, as you can see, when the past few years when we do Geylang Bazaar, a lot of people, our short sleeves kurta were actually one of the best sellers because they are actually very comfortable, and the quality of material that we use. Like if you see in the pink color, the Asanoha, why is Asanoha? Asanoha is because this German technology fabrics, it's combined with a kimono fabric that has this motif called Asanoha in a way. So this is the first time we bring in this German technology cotton. It's 100% cotton. It's actually, if you touch the texture, it has a texture that's like a dot texture, something like that. So when men, they tend to perspire a lot, and this thing is it's not exactly like those kind of like dry fit, but it's something like that. So it's 100% cotton. The more you wash of this cotton, the more the cotton gets more softer. And then it combines with Japanese kimono fabrics that we got from Japan. So this is a collection, but we have like different collection that caters to slim fit A-line and A-line. So different quality are being utilized is because our number one factor is it has to be comfortable for men. Because it's actually for their sanity actually.
Yeah, and I realized that some of these kurtas that you have, the short sleeve ones, is even more appropriate for me to even wear to my own, you know, functions. You know, it looks simple, nice, and I like the fact that you can just wear pants, you know, sneakers on, and that's it. I'm ready to go. I think it's awesome. And yes, I do agree that I'm very particular, and I think many of the guys out there are very particular. You know, you don't want to have material where, you know, once you perspire, you know, you can feel uncomfortable, and it is important. The quality of that fabric is very, very important.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of quality, in terms of measurement, because we are not only catering to Asians, we have Europeans also buying from us. So it's actually these certain measurements are actually a combination of our Asian and European cut in a way. So yeah, but we are still in a learning stage. We actually now we have our own master cutter. Because guys, if you're in the trade, when you're doing manufacturing, the master cutter is actually the number one person who could actually break or make you reach in a way. So in a way, we want to make sure that the pricing is correct in order to actually be affordable to all walks of life and not to be too high priced, because we have other companies that does like storytelling about our heritage and our story about Asia, but they are quite expensive and sometimes they're not within reach. And sometimes when they have a certain pricing up there, and the quality is actually discounted in a sense. So for us, we want things to be affordable. We want the thing to be chic and suave. We want the things to be comfortable. That's our key points. So
Yeah.
whenever the master cutter will cut, I will actually be in front of him when he's cutting to learn, and also to oversee what am I manufacturing for. And I want to make sure that every penny that the customer actually pays is actually worth it. This is how I'm able to have my regulars coming back to me.
Yeah, it's always consistently engaging your clients or customers to make them feel good and want to come back for more. I'm a strong believer. Let me just come back to the chat and I'll just close this and just give me a minute. And yes, now one of the key thing I always believe is not about actually getting your first customer, but it's getting your customers to come back to you again and again and again. So I think that is where. So guys, viewers out there, especially the men, if you are looking, you can just just go to the website that I just showed you online. Look at the kurtas and the available designs and apparels that Fabriques Asia has to offer you. And if possible, just engage Fabriques Asia, ask questions. And I'm sure Sally and her group of people in Fabriques Asia will be willing to help you out, to give you whatever answers you require and assistance that you require. All right. And one last question that I would like to ask you. In fact, I think it's so engaging that our session went beyond. I mean, though we got no issues, No, but it's okay. It's okay. I think the key thing is we don't have any time slots to say. We can go on and on. But I think the key thing is the messages are actually being engaged, and a lot of our viewers are actually being engaged. So that's a good thing. Now, any word of advice, Sally, for business owners who are currently engaged in our live chat, whether they could be aspirants who want to start a business or existing business owners, any word of advice from you?
I mean, like for me, every phase of my journey as a business owner, there's always a learning curve. Never be afraid of what's going to happen. Grab it at your own pace. Do not have panic attacks. Take a step back whenever this thing happens, because stress will not actually allow you to find solutions. Stress will actually eliminate anything that is supposed to be positive for you. I'm my loss could not be as big as yours, but I believe that if there's any way that we could actually assist you guys, or just drop a DM on our Facebook page. And like how I'm doing currently is that every time I do live, I collaborate with business owners for gifts. That means I'll purchase gifts from them, and I work with like Mifsha Kids whenever I'm live on my kids when I'm doing live for the kids collection. I will have, the best child will get this from Mifsha Kids. These are, check out their Instagram, check out their Facebook. They're having this batch thing for the fasting month. They have the calendar for fasting month. Or I work with Lulu Beauty because most of the people who are shopping is the wives. I work with Lulu Beauty in terms of hair serums, shampoos, or giving them as free takeaways and explaining them about this product in my life. I mean, there's always a way that we can actually work things together. We network. If I can't, maybe I could actually be a pair of your listening ears, because this is a time that if you keep it to yourself, it's going to drive you nuts. So if you don't know, there's a lot of platforms you guys can actually tap on. Do not be shy. Everybody is going through all these things. Even you're losing, I'm losing nothing. What I'm losing is like far more beyond, not far beyond, and others are losing billions and thousands of dollars. But take this as a journey, like what you said, Sakti, at a point that once this COVID-19 finishes, what do we actually learn from it? What have we pushed ourselves through this thing, despite we're not comfortable with a lot of things? So there's a positive and a negative note, but be resilient. We're going to go through this, I believe. We've gone through SARS, guys. We've been independent. I mean, it's not as easy as it seems to be, but if you put yourself on a positive note and say you can do it, like how I'm doing, I'm very shy with interviews. You can actually make it. You need to try, in a sense. Be resilient. Business is definitely not for the faint of heart, but the important intake of knowledge that you're going to get out of this COVID-19 is actually the best thing that you would never get in school.
Yeah. Just one thing or analogy that that I get reminded, from the advice you gave, assuming a ship being in the storm, the captain has two choices. One is, to take the ship back to harbor, to replenish, to do the necessary repairs, which, of course, he's wasting his resource in terms of time and coming back to the harbor. Or the other point is to have the adequate support to him, or get things to him to replenish, to get things done, so he's ready to move on the moment the storm subsides. So the whole idea is, this is the time where, when things are challenging, there's a storm, is to start preparing. So once the storm subsides, you have stabilized, you have prepared, and you are ready to move towards the growth that you want to. So I think this is something that has always been close to Bettery Lab's heart, because we believe in that. With that, yes, we had an awesome session. Sally, thank you so much for sharing everything from your heart.
Thank you very much for having me. Yeah, it's actually definitely for my heart, guys. My heart is all to all business owners. My prayers for all you guys. Let's do it together, be united. Let's network together as much as we can. We might never know what's the good take that we're going to take out of this COVID-19.
Yes, as you can see, we had an awesome session with Sally, and our next session will be on Thursday at 2 p.m. and we'll have another business owner. Now, the key is always to be sharing and learning from each other. So once again, thank you, Fabriques Asia and Sally, to join us amidst your busy schedule and sharing so many things. I'm sure the viewers will have a lot of things to take back and put in place and look at a different perspective of being a business owner. So once again, guys, see you guys soon. Yours sincerely, Sakti from Bettery Lab. See you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.